Welcome gamers to the Game of Bed, as we are going to compare two Game Boy flash cards made by the same company. Easy Flash 4 came first. Well, actually I don't know about that, it is numbered 4 after all. I got this one in 2016, don't know if that was the year of release. I just know that at the time that was the only flash card that was still being made. But now we got like EverDrive GBA, which is flippin' expensive, so I got this one instead. Now this one's called the Easy Flash Omega, although it doesn't say that, it just says Easy Flash. Yeah, we're going to compare some of the features of these two. There's some minor differences, so here's a box anyway. Here's what you get. First of all, the cartridge was just kind of laying in here. Oh god. So much bubble wrap. Here we go. So you get this little adapter that makes it a half-size one for a DS Lite. If you're one of those slim degenerates. If you get one of the fat models like me, then it fits perfectly as it is. So pretty epic. So what's the point of upgrading to this one if you already got this? Now this one, it is pretty good, although it doesn't accept pretty much anything that's higher than 16 megabits. So if you got like, say, I don't know, one of those stupid RPGs or something, they're 32 megs, so it will not boot normally on this one. Instead, you have to use this write to NOR function, because there is a 32 meg NOR flash chip, whatever that means, but essentially you have to like override the actual ROM chip in this with some games, and when you do that, it also instantly loads your games. So if you had a couple favorite games like WarioWare and Doom, and you set it onto the NOR memory, then you want to put a 32 meg game, you have to override all that. But usually I find when you use that function, it doesn't save, which is bad. So if your games are over 16 meg, just don't bother with this one. But yeah, so what does this one have to offer? Well, first of all, it fixes that 32 meg problem, but also it lets you just, you know, run emulators straight off. So there's a few emulators for the Game Boy Advance that let you run NES games, Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, even on the GB Micro. So how those ones work, there's like one called, I think it was Pocket NES. You have to like drag a bunch of NES ROMs into this program, then it makes a special .GBA ROM with the ROM pre-included. So it's like a ROM in a ROM, but it's an emulator that runs an NES game. It's really weird, but it works. It's been out there for ages. Lots of pirated Chinese Game Boy carts have the NES emulators on there. So yeah, let's see them in action, eh? So I'm going to put the older one into my Game Boy Micro here. Oh yeah, here's another thing with the old Game Boy, the Easy Flash 4, it's just like this. Nice. Although, there is a good thing that this one has. So, where the SD card slots are, this one, it's one of those springy ones. Although, on the consequence of this, it also means you can leave it on the other side of the room, or it will spit out somewhere where you can't find it. This one doesn't have that, but it had so much plastic encased around here, you literally couldn't get the card out once it was in there. You had to get like a flathead screwdriver and just prick it out with that top little part of the SD card there. I was doing that for a bit, but it scratched up pretty noticeably immediately, so in the end I just took the cover apart and just used a Dremel and just cut me some room so I could actually get the card out without having to use any tools whatsoever. So that's my big complaint with this one, but otherwise the software seems to make up for it. So yeah, we'll put the older one in there, in my Game Boy SP with the backlit mod. Ooh, epic. We'll chuck the newer one on there. Start off with the old one first. Oh yeah, that's another thing. That hold L to save thing, or to bypass. What I was talking about is when you save a game on this one, to actually get it to save that save game on the SD card, you have to restart your Game Boy until it goes to that loading screen that it was just there for a sec. Then it will eventually say copying.sav file or whatever. This one writes directly to the card. However, you got to be careful not to turn your games off immediately after saving, because you will lose your save games. well, I haven't done that, so I'm good. But a lot of people online have done that themselves and lost a bunch of stupid RPG saves. So it wasn't right for playing RPGs. Okay, there's one feature that's on this one that is not on the other card. HTML. Well, it's basically a bunch of book features and stuff. So I'll put some Game Boy cheats on there. It advertised that it can read HTML pages, but I tested it out and it does not. It just reads it as text. It also said you can view images on this thing, so I thought, okay, well, we'll try that. And maybe bitmaps, but not JPEGs. Anyway. Now this thing is significantly faster. So also you get all these little extra features. You get a fucking clock. You add like cheats. You get save states. You don't get any of that in this one. Well, you may be able to get cheats on there, but oh, that's another thing. Save games are a pain in the ass on this fucking thing. So to get your games to be able to save, you have to drag your file into this stupid Chinese program that has glitched text, and then patch the ROMs themselves onto the SD card, and then they will save. This one does that shit on the fly, so you don't have to worry about it. You just copy a shitload of ROMs, it's good to go. That's it. Let's test it out. Oh yeah, you get thumbnails too, which is pretty epic. Yeah. So we'll start Doom 2 Red, which is my Red Blood patch I made a while ago. We'll load that on this one at the same time. How about that? And you'll get an idea of the speed. 3, 2, 1. It's done. Yep. It's that quick. It's pretty much instant. Which is really, really good, because that was one of my annoying complaints with this one, is it just takes so damn long to boot up. Where this board is kind of obsolete anyway now, as you know, with the PR boom, but yeah, you could restart it. Still going. Well, there's another feature I wanted to show off. That menu with the save states and stuff. Oh, here's the other one. Finally. Turn that off. Okay. So, let's again. We'll try F0, right? You get the options: clean boot, boot with add-on, and then you can write to normal. I don't really see the point though when it instantly loads now, but you still get those options from the last model. Maybe if you had a 64 meg Shrek 2 movie cartridge or something, then you could probably do that. I haven't actually checked what the max is for the NOR. Well, anyway, so yeah, boot with add-on allows you to use like the save state menu and stuff, and cheats, while clean boot does nothing at all. It just makes it run. So well, let's do that. As you can see, we got the original save files from when I was growing up. Epic. We're going to go and save this state. Pick a car. And then immediately go back. Because isn't that exciting? Whoa. Isn't that a cool feature? Save states on your GBA. Pretty nice. When you start a game, let's get Mega Man. You manage to get the Game Boy intro again. This one, you don't. You just kind of have the whole thing on there. Ooh, I've got the entire NES library and Game Boy Color library on this fucking thing. Also get not a first person shooter, a frame rate fixer patch for Mega Man 3 because it's just unplayable as is. we'll go clean boot that, and yeah. On the old one, you had to get a program on your computer that converts it to this Pocket NES emulator thing, and then you can play them that way. But this one, it just does that on the fly. You just drag your ROMs on there and it just makes an emulator on the fly and just runs it. Isn't that cool? But yeah, I'm sure everybody's seen Pocket NES at one point in their life. It's not that interesting now. Always on the pirated, Chinese bootleg cartridges. When it's like, oh, 7 real games and then 160 billion fucking other NES games. Also, Mega Man's looking a little bit deformed here, but that's okay because it runs full speed. Now we'll exit this. We'll check out Game Boy Color emulation. Now the only games I had on the Game Boy Color, because I actually had an Advance, but I had a couple Game Boy Color games anyway, was some great titles. It was Blue's Clues, Elmo's ABCs, Flintstones, and that's exactly what we're going to be checking out today. Let's see how well it does Game Boy Color emulation. It will probably be more interesting to do it on this one, because this one doesn't actually let you play Game Boy Color games at all. But it does work it with this emulator, of course, so it's like, whoa. Isn't that epic? But actually, this game is complete arse, and I'll show you why. What do you do? And match the letters. See that G over there? Wait for the key. So fuck it, speedrunning trick. Mash the up button on there and you'll go fucking whoa, calm the fuck down, kitty dip. Okay, this game sucks. So we'll check out Flintstones. That one was actually okay. And you will notice a problem upon loading it. It is burger time in Bedrock. Burger. Okay, seems to be running alright so far. Conspiracy? What the fuck is going on? Yeah. The game plays in slow motion and everything flickers. God, it's so slow. But yeah, so with the Game Boy Color emulator, you will notice that any popular title that any YouTube reviewer in every year ever has reviewed will work fine. If it's literally anything obscure, it will have glitches. So that's the Game Boy Color emulator. So I was never a Game Boy Color or Game Boy fan in the first place, so it doesn't worry me too much. The only game I like on here is Tetris. And Super Mario Land. Actually, Super Mario Land is freaking epic, so we're going to play that. Yeah. You also get all your different color options and stuff. You got a special one for just this game. Ooh. Pocket Bomber. Yay! Okay, we're going to keep it as this. I like it. I'm rubbing like the actual Game Boy on the tripod itself, so sorry. This is how we're going to do things. Ooh. It's really weird playing Game Boy games through a V-mount. Okay, cool. So that's the emulators. It's alright, it's pretty good from most games, but it can't run Flintstones Burger Time, so bit of a shame. Also that book feature in there, it doesn't do anything on this one. You can't read books, sadly, on this Omega one. What else is there to show you? Not much. I guess I'll show you what it's like putting a 32 meg ROM in here. Let's see, I'm going to start Doom TNT because it is 22 meg. PS RAM is not enough, that's what you'll get, and then we'll kick you back out. So what you'll have to do is, hit start, select actually, right to north, Doesn't say Y or N or what button to press, but we'll go A. No. Epic. You gotta kiss Shrek. Alright. It's finally done. Alright. And after all that time, you realize save games are broken. So, what can you say about the new one? So this card is infinitely better than this one. This one is kind of aged poorly. The only thing wrong with the Omega one is just the grip on the micro SD card slot. But if you ignore that, this is fucking fantastic. And from what I can read online, it pretty much has every feature that the EverDrive Gameboy Advance. EverDrive usually make overpriced cartridges for a lot of consoles, but their one for the Game Boy Advance apparently has every feature that this one has, so just get this one. I'll link the site I use below. It's called mdscard.something.cn.com, I don't know. I'll link it below. It's the site that was sponsored a bunch of times by GBA Temp back in the day. I don't know if they still are, but it's a good site. It's pretty good. I got this actually like in a week for China. That's really good actually. But yeah, it only took about a week. Same with probably this one. I spent the same amount on this one as I did with this one. I think it was like 80 Australian dollars.